Not a bad thing at all. Fear keeps you from playing with bears. It stops you from eating a donut you found in the trash, hopefully. And it might just save your life. But you know what? You can't trust it. You cannot trust fear. Hello everybody, I am Oliver Bly, and right now I am trying my best not to trust my fear. You see, as I'm reading these words and speaking to you, I am afraid. I was afraid writing this talk out. I was afraid 30 minutes ago when I was brushing my teeth. I was afraid just now, standing in the back of chapel, feeling like I was going to throw up, and hoping the fire alarm would go off so I'd get out of giving this chapel talk. I was even afraid 4 years ago when I realized I would give this chapel talk someday. Why exactly I'm afraid to speak to you? It's kind of hard to explain. I guess I'm afraid you'll laugh at me. I'm afraid you'll think I'm stupid. I'm afraid the teachers will think less of me. And all those sound pretty silly when I say them out loud. But do you know, on average, Americans fear public speaking more than death? Which means my fear may be completely irrational, which is a fancy way of saying foolish. Which is a fancy way of saying foolish, but I'm not alone. More than half the people in our country share this fear with me. Most of the time, fear doesn't make sense. We shouldn't trust it. Let me show you. Charlotte, will you still be my friend if this chapel talk stinks? See, there's really nothing to fear, but right now, my brain is screaming at me to run straight out of this chapel and never come back. My fear has kicked off a chain reaction in my brain that we've all felt before. Dread, anxiety, and panic. Our hearts race, our breathing quickens, and our muscles tense up. Sometimes we've learned to be afraid because of something scary that has happened. But we're also born with other fears. Like, they are hardwired into us, like the fear of snakes or spiders. Personally, I've been afraid of heights since I was staring down at the baby blue carpet from my crib. What are you guys afraid of? I especially remember this fear on my 4th grade retreat when we went to Gold Country. I was terrified of the ropes course because it just seemed so high. Even though I knew we were perfectly safe, while everyone seemed to be having a great time, I was sick to my stomach, just dreading my turn on the course. When my turn came, I tried to think of the ways to get out of doing the course, but I couldn't. There were no excuses. I believed there was no way I could climb so high. And then I did. So high that when I looked down, I was terrified. I froze for a good 5 seconds, then kept going on to the last obstacle. I looked down again. I was paralyzed with terror. Seconds felt like minutes. I had zero control over my body. Every muscle in my body was as stiff as a rock. I got through it and waited for the rush of joy like my classmates seemed to have. But the happiness never came. I was just relieved it was over. My fear stole all my fun. At that moment, I was determined not to let my fear ruin my enjoyment of a great opportunity. Never again would I trust my irrational fears. I haven't forgotten the lesson I learned in Gold Country. Next time I have an opportunity like this, I'm going to go out there and have fun rather than being scared. In the lesson that Walton read for us, we learned about Moses and his conversations with God. We know that God wanted Moses to be his messenger, but at first, Moses was not sure he could do something so important. Moses wanted to do what God asked, but he was afraid that he wasn't good enough because he had a speech problem. If Moses had trusted his fear, he would have stayed out there in the desert with his sheep instead of going to Egypt to tell the Pharaoh to let God's people go. But God told Moses his limitations didn't matter, and Moses trusted God more than he trusted his fear. And so he helped God and his people by demanding the Pharaoh to let them free. And it worked. You know, giving this chapel talk is scary, but all 300 of you aren't as scary as a Pharaoh. Come to think of it, this isn't nearly as scary as I thought it would be. I'm actually having fun up here. My fear told me this talk was something to dread, but it's not so bad after all. Thanks for listening to me so nicely. You guys are helping me conquer my fear and make a new, positive memory, so that next time I have to speak in front of people, it will be easier. I may still want to run away, but deep down, I will know that I can do it. Facing our fears is the only way to accomplish our goals. Conquering fear turns failure into success. Conquering fear turns crawling into walking. Conquering fear can even make someone a prophet of God who changes the world forever. Life is short, and if we want to do something fun and terrifying, or be someone powerful and helpful, we can't let our fears hold us back. Instead, we must face our fears and make new, positive memories that will rewire our brains and transform us into more courageous people. Thank you.